Coach, what have your initial impressions been of DT Sheffield so far, and kind of what he can do for your offense?
Well, DT's come in and he's done a really good job. First, acclimating to the culture and really what it takes to be a football player here, and then on the field. I mean, he's working and doing everything we're asking him to do. Like anything, when you're new and you have a pretty good experience base, like when you ask somebody to do something maybe slightly different than they've done it, those types of things we're working on. He is really, really receptive to coaching. He's receptive to ideas. Thrilled with what he's done, and really, really excited about the fact that he's here with us.
Obviously, it's still early, but what would you say differentiates this wide receiver group from years past?
Well, not to dodge the question, really my only focus is this year. So I'm looking at this spring practice. I'm looking at player development. I'm looking at how we can get better collectively. How can John and I do a better job coaching the players? How can the players take things from the meeting room to individual and group stuff, and then always take it to team activities when we're in practice? I really don't draw comparisons. I'm not really interested in comparisons. I'm very, very pleased collectively with the group and what they're doing. But I'm excited about what we can do, and looking forward to what we will do.
I know Ian Strong isn't participating in the spring, but what have you thought of his development to this point, and what do you think the next step is for him? Do you think he could be one of these guys that's among the best wide receivers in the Big Ten?
Well, again, I think you're always looking at individual growth, and as a player, it's all about development. And again, I'm pleased with the entire group and how they work. Ian is an elite worker. He's an elite person. I think his ceiling is limitless. Once he gets back and we're rocking and rolling, he's phenomenal in the meetings. He's really, really good with the young players, the new players. He's an elite teammate. So those things are really beneficial. And, I think his body of work so far on the field in games, he certainly has the ability to help us do good things. And I'm really looking forward to getting him back.
KJ Duff came in with a lot of attention last year and kind of stepped right in. What did you see from him, and where does he need to go this spring?
Well, KJ's similar. It's really all about development, and that's really, to me, what spring practice is about. You get opportunities to help the players develop. You get opportunities to try to get them to take their game from one place to the next. It's kind of cyclical. We're in a phase now where we're on the field and we're practicing, and you can really see the growth versus other players. And we still have multiple phases to go where there'll be unbelievable growth. Like, I love the summer phase. I think especially on the perimeter for receivers and quarterbacks, and I just think you can increase your ability to be a good player substantially in that phase. So, like, I'm having a blast doing this. I can't wait for the next phase. And again, I think those guys are high-end players with really, really good futures. But at the end of the day, man, you got to put the work in. It takes what it takes, and they're doing that. So that's why I'm pleased.
Has anybody stood out to you this early into camp?
I don't really look at it that way. I mean, certainly, individual guys have made some great plays and things like that, but I'm really trying to take a look at each individual player, their development. How can we help that individual player get better? And I look at it like, if they get better, whoever they is, we get better. And you're trying to make sure that you have really, really good frontline players, really, really good depth. And I think that's one of the things we were able to do last season. We were able to plug and play a couple guys and not overly concerned if it's a new transfer. I'm not concerned if it's a freshman. I'm not concerned if it's a second or third year player. We're going to get the guys ready to play and put them in a position to be successful and do the things that Coach Schiano needs them to do to help us win.
Just their second year with Ethan at quarterback. I mean, I guess how important is that continuity going into their year two, and have you seen an increase in the way they're working together and kind of where that production could go?
Well, again, I don't coach Ethan, so what I would say what I've seen from Ethan is tremendous leadership, tremendous growth. The belief that the players have in him is really, really at a high level. So that part of it's fun. When you have a guy who's operating at that level, it helps everybody. It lifts the entire unit up, whether it's the O-line, whether it's the running backs, the receivers, again, I would say that he's probably the unquestioned leader of the offense, not only because of the position, but he's just done a fantastic job working and showing everybody that, hey, I'm going to put it in. and if everybody else does, you know, we'll all have a chance to get the result we want.
The last couple of years with Ian, a couple of years ago, KJ last year, there was always a freshman that kind of popped in and had a role in the offense. Do you see anybody from this freshman class that has a chance to play early in his career and not necessarily a big role, but have a role in this offense?
Yeah, I love the freshmen. You know, again, collectively, I wouldn't single anybody out, because then I wouldn't look at that like that's how I should be thinking about it. But I'll say this: I think they have the ability to do the things the guys that have come in here in the past have done. Some of it is opportunity. And I think those guys are working. I can't wait to get them through this cycle. And with the remaining stuff that we have to do before you play, really the opportunities are limitless. And talented guys, they work hard. They're doing a really good job. But it's a lot different than anything they've done. And realistically, they should be in high school. And so you're working and you're trying to help them navigate a lot of different things. But I'm thrilled with them. I really am, and they're terrific kids, and they work, and each one of them has kind of put his stamp on something at one time or another. So very, very excited.
You mentioned him earlier, but John McNulty, what kind of impact is he to have, and certainly steps into some pretty big shoes from John Perry?
Yeah, no, I mean, nobody's more fortunate in the program than me. With what Coach Schiano's been able to provide me from a standpoint of somebody who is able to coach the receivers with me. I've known John a long time, never worked with him. Obviously, his comfort level with Coach Schiano and Kirk is phenomenal. Haven't been a coordinator here. He worked with Kirk. So, I mean, it's seamless. His experience and his ability to help the players grow, make them better. I feel like we have as good an advantage there as anybody in the country, and one of the reasons why I'm as confident as I am with the group in the room is, with his addition, again, I see the players ascending.
Two more.
You've had some significant experience in the NFL. I'm just wondering if a team called about Christian Dremel, what would you say about him and his potential?
I love Drem. Yeah, they don't have to call. I'm gonna call some of them. I mean, you'd love a guy like that to get his shot, but it's a tough world out there when you're talking about it. He's been to some local days and had some opportunities, which I think he's probably done a really, really good job based on the feedback that I've gotten. But I would put, for what my name's worth, I'd put it on him. I'd want him to have a shot, and if he does it, he does it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But we've had guys go into camp the last couple of years, and they've done a good job. Guys who come to this program, do the things that Coach Schiano asks them to do, work the way they're demanded to work here. Their chances of being successful at the next level are pretty good.
And you have Kirk Ciarrocca and Nathan coming back now. How important would you say that continuity is for the wide receiver room?
It's always important. Again, anybody, familiarity, talent, all those things are critically important if you want to be successful. With Kirk coming back, it's year 3 for the two of us. I really enjoy it. I think from a working relationship, it's been really, really good. And you just put yourself in the moment. You worry about today's practice. We'll go watch the film. You worry about Saturday. And you don't go ahead. And again, I think we have what we need. Now we just got to make it as good as we possibly can make it. And I like our chances.